Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing so well. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different. I get so many questions about what it's like being cabin crew, and I thought I'll just make a video so you guys can get loads of answers. So the way I'm going to do this video, it's going to be quite a broad view. I'm not going to go into specifics, obviously to keep in line with the airline I work with, but at the same time I'm just going to give you a real perspective on what it's like to be a cabin crew. So I have been cabin crew for coming up to 2 years now, so I am by means no expert. This is just something that I've been doing for a few years and an industry that I always wanted to know some answers to. I feel like this video would have been perfect for me just before starting my job as cabin crew, just to give me a bit more of an insight and answer a few questions that I had. So I just went online and just found some really common questions on what it's like to be cabin crew, flight attendant, and yeah, I thought I would answer them for you because I think this would be really helpful. I get a lot of people message me saying, what's it like, tell me about this, tell me about this. I think this video will provide people with that. So what inspired you to become a flight attendant or cabin crew? I feel like I use them quite interchangeably. Cabin crew is more of a British term, flight attendant is a bit more of an American term. So if I say either, you know what I mean. Cabin crew, flight attendant, same thing in my opinion. Air hostess also, you know, all of that. So what inspired me? So I had always been interested in aviation. My dad was actually in the RAF, and growing up I just loved going to all of the fun days at RAF, sitting in different planes. I also loved going on holiday, and I was really lucky when I was younger. My parents kind of prioritised taking us away, taking us outside of school times and going to loads of different places. That was really a key thing that they wanted to give us in our childhood. Not like 5-star holidays, but just going to like different places around Europe and just experiencing different things, different road trips. So I'm very grateful for that, and I think that definitely gave me the want to go. I actually took my first ever flight as a 14-year-old. So I met a friend on holiday in France and I begged my parents to let me go and visit her. So yeah, I saved up my pocket money and bought myself a flight to France, and yeah. So I think that was kind of like a real signpost for me that I had the confidence to even do something like that. I also loved helping people. All my first jobs were in hospitality. I used to work in a local pub, then I worked in supermarkets. So dealing with the public quite a lot was something that actually gave me amazing skills, and I would recommend to anyone who wants to be crew, or if you're watching this when you're younger and you're thinking, what do I need to become crew? Hospitality experience and customer experience is like the most important things, because you already have a head start. And I feel like when you're applying for the jobs and going through interview stages, I feel like that's what they really want to hear. You have those people skills, so I would definitely recommend that. What else have I done? I worked in like corporate hospitality and at race courses, different venues. So I know how to kind of converge at all levels. I know how to speak to children, I know how to speak to families, I know how to speak to higher up clients. And I think that really comes into play when you are crew. What does a typical day look like for you as a flight attendant? So on the day of your duty, I start mine from home because I'm in a commutable distance from the airport. So I normally wake up in the morning, have a shower, do my makeup, finish packing, put my uniform on and drive to work, and I will drink Huel as I go. So Huel is like a complete nutritional meal in a bottle. So I just find that really quick and on the go, and I find them so filling, which is what I need because I don't have time to be cooking in the morning on the day of a flight. I want the maximum amount of time in bed before leaving. So then I'll drive to the airport, park up, report 2 hours before my duty, then get on the aircraft and fly and take the customers to work. So days are very long. They can be the shortest day you're going to get, personally for me, from waking up to going to bed in a different country, is never less than maybe 20 hours. It is a very long day each day, but that's why you kind of have maybe up to 6 flights a month, rather than, it's not like you're doing that every day, Monday to Friday sort of thing. So that's why you have your different rest periods. How do you manage long hours and jet lag? So I don't know if I would call what I have jet lag, because jet lag is when you get used to the time period that you're in a different country and come back and then you find it hard to adjust. I feel as though when we go away as crew, we're not always in the places long enough to adjust to their time difference. So I don't know if I'd call it jet lag, but I think it's more sleep management is how I would describe it. So for me, sleep is so important. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a tiring job. I've actually recently had a period off because I was having fatigue, which caused some stress and just went around in a really horrible cycle. So sleep is just so important. So I normally look at my trips and say, okay, how much sleep can I fit in, and in as big blocks as I possibly can. I always try and get an 8-hour block in there somehow, maybe 9 or 10 hours if I possibly can, because that is so important. The long hours, so when you have longer flights you will get crew rest. So if a flight, I believe it's over, I don't think there's an exact science, but you normally do get a break at some point, but sometimes you don't, so you have to be prepared for that. I don't turn to caffeine because a lot of people that I work with love caffeine, and all they do is have caffeine, that's how they keep going. But caffeine really affects my sleep. If you're like me and you have a coffee at like 3 p.m. and you can't sleep at midnight, like, you get what I mean. So something that I do is really hydrate myself. So on board I will drink about 3 litres of water a flight. I also put electrolyte tablets in my water because I feel like that really gives me the energy. I also just eat when I'm hungry. There will be quite a few times where you are hungry because you're exerting a lot of energy. Your body's telling you, well, I'm tired now, I want to go to bed. So you need more energy to stay up. It's just about making the right choices. I try to stay away from carbs if I can, but also if I am really hungry and I know that's going to be one of my good meals, I will maybe just have some pasta because I know that's something that I can digest easily and my stomach finds okay. Another thing I do to help manage with the long hours is when I'm home I will have lay-ins. So I don't normally set an alarm on days that I'm at home. This might be a little bit unproductive, but if I've only got 2 days off between my next flight, I'd rather let myself sleep in and get the sleep my body needs to recharge for my next duty, rather than waking up at 7 a.m. at home and then being really tired throughout the day. Next question, what is the most rewarding part of your job? Oh, I love this question because for me, in my company, I love just surprising customers and giving them the best kind of service. I love seeing families. I think I really want a family of my own one day. I really want to be a mum. So seeing families come on board, I just find so special. And a lot of the time, this is such an amazing trip for them and they've spent a lot of money, you know, taking kids away with you must be so expensive. So that is such a rewarding part of my job. Also seeing people that have been engaged, or just when I find passengers that a little bit down and we can somehow like make their day a little bit better. I just love that part of the job, and just going out of my way and really trying to make everyone's days a little bit brighter. I just love being around people. I think I am a people person, and I think that's what you need to be crew. So if you feel as though you love to go out your way to treat people and just give people that extra kindness, make people smile, I think that's the main thing, making people smile, you know, I think this is a job that would really be good for you. The next question is, what kind of training do you have to go through to become cabin crew? So it's different depending on what airline you would go for, but particularly in my experience, it was about a 5-week training program. So it is a very tough process. It's like being on The Apprentice's job. Like, it's like that interview process. It is very long-winded. For example, in my position, when I first applied, I applied in the September of 2022, and then I didn't even have my interview till February 2023. So that whole process was long enough. And then I had to wait for my training course, which wasn't till the May, and then that was a 5-week process. So yeah, it is very long-winded, very intense, and the only reason I got through it was because I put my heart and soul into that. I moved up towards the London area because a lot of the training is kind of there depending on what airline you're with, and I just prioritised for the next 5 weeks. All I did was revise because I knew I needed to really focus in order to be able to pass the exams. So most days you have exams in training and they're to do with different parts of the job, and yeah, you have to be so on it. You have to literally have nothing else in your mind. But I think the best thing about training is everyone's in it together. You really do just have teamwork. Like, if I'm unsure about something, someone else will know the answer and I can go to them. And I think that's the thing that got me through training, was just asking people questions and just knowing I'm not alone. It's not just me doing that exam, it's all of us, you know. And also, you just need to have some self-belief. I used to just drive to training with music that would get my adrenaline pumping and just make me feel like, yeah, I've got this. And one of the songs was so random, but The Incredibles theme tune, like, it sounds so random, but I used to set that as my alarm in the morning, and I also used to drive to that because I found it really, like, I don't know, like, got my energy levels up. And I think you just need to go in, have that. And I quite often drive to work like singing ABBA and things like that, because I'm like, it just brings out happiness in you and it's good to do that, you know. Next question is, how do you manage your work-life balance with such a demanding job? So I would say the job is demanding in the sense of your self-care and your sleep management is so important, and also just self-maintenance, just making sure that you're keeping going, keeping fit. The way I try and balance it, you've got to have people that really understand, and my friends are so good, like they are really understanding. Like they know I'm not going to necessarily want to meet them for coffee at 9 a.m. the day after I've landed after a flight, right? I've brought quite a few of them on trips with me, so they also know how tiring it is because they have experienced the trip and done it as a passenger, and they're tired themselves, so they are like, I don't know how you do it. And I think you just have to be so honest with your friends and people around you and just say, look, this isn't going to work for me. I made this mistake a few times when I would land, say, at like 10 a.m. in the morning and make plans with my friends at like 5 p.m. that evening. And sometimes, don't get me wrong, if it's like a friend's birthday and you really want to do it, you can. But like, there was a few times where I didn't, and I thought, oh my god, I'm not putting myself first here. And that is what you need to do. You just have to put yourself first, and then you really will have the work-life balance. I think that is just the only way to say it. You just have to kind of be selfish in that sense and just work everyone else around that. I know a period where I get really tired with this job, especially in the evening, so I won't necessarily arrange to see my friends in the evening because I find my social battery is quite dry at that time of the day, and I just feel like I would rather see them in the morning and give them my best self. So that is something that I do. Next question, what's the most surprising thing people don't know about being a flight attendant or cabin crew? Probably how tiring it is. Like, people, when I like speak to them, are like, oh my god, I don't realise, like, hey, you're going to all these different time zones and things like that. Like, people don't realise how tiring it is. I mean, we are doing shift work essentially, so almost a bit like the emergency services, but obviously they aren't going into different time zones as well with their job. So it's almost like doing a shift like that, and I'm by no means saying I'm a firefighter. Although I am trained to fight fires and to do medical procedures. That sounds like I'm a doctor, I'm not a surgeon. No, but like deal with medical events. And yeah, so you kind of feel like all of them things rolled into one, but also fighting tiredness. So it is very intense, and it can take a lot out on your body. How do you handle time zone changes and keeping track of your schedule? So Google Calendars, oh my goodness, I just love Google Calendars. My days, I just plan them out. I will write on my notes app week 10 of 2025, and I'll go, okay, Monday I'm at home, Tuesday I'm here, and I'll just work backwards and say, okay, so I need to be in bed by this time and deal with this, and then when I'm landing in New York, it'll be this time, so I'll be hungry, so I want to go and eat. I just have to manage things myself so much, just so I know I'm getting the most out of my day and also prioritising myself. I use my Google Calendar so much. I have used it since I was like in college. Like, it's just my favourite thing ever. I just have everything listed out on my days and colour coding things. So for example, I'll put red on the day when I'm landing because I know I'm going to be tired that day. So anything else that is scheduled on that day, I know you're going to get tired me. Can you describe the best perks of being a flight attendant? Well, obviously the best things are being able to see the world, but I'd also say just working and meeting amazing people. The industry is just so amazing. You meet people from all walks of life, and I'm so lucky in my position to meet not only loads of people from all across the countries with their beautiful accents and all their different life experience, but also people that have been in the company and shaped the industry for so long. And I really look up to my like seniors really in this industry. I just feel like they have endured the most change. They have also put up with the most, and they just have such a knowledge and vast experience. Like, it's unmatched. Just how things have changed over the years and all the stories they tell me, I just am in awe. And I think that is just a feature of me personally. I just have always had a lot of respect for people that have been doing certain jobs for a long time and just have experience in different fields. There is a lot of people that have been in this industry for tens of years, 20s, 30, 40 years, and actually showing them respect is the best way to be respected, because at the end of the day, the company that you're in was built from them. They have paved the way for you. So that is something that is so key to me, and just really appreciating the people that have made this industry the way it is, and yeah, made it how it is for us. The next question is, what advice would you give to someone who is interested in becoming a flight attendant? I would 100% say do it, because I remember wanting to do it for a while and thinking, oh, but I probably don't live close enough to the airport. I don't know how I'd manage that, but you just have to go and do it. I really recommend people starting it in their 20s, but you can literally start it at any age. The only reason I say in your 20s is because for me, I had a real lack of commitments at home. I have my relationships with people, but I'm lucky to still live at home. I don't have a mortgage. I can basically afford to do this job and to be away, and I don't have too many monetary commitments at this point in my life. Like, I mean, I don't have kids at the minute, so that's not a consideration. I don't have many responsibilities. I'm not a carer myself, so I don't have the responsibility, so I feel like this job being away I could do. I would say if you don't already have hospitality experience, 100% go and get some now. Whether you're going and working in a restaurant on a Tuesday evening, just doing the odd shift, and try and work different parts in hospitality, maybe working in a kitchen, working behind a bar, because all of these things really come into play. And just being able to speak to people, put yourself in a customer facing role, because that is the best way for you to really understand people and also put yourself out there and just know how to carry yourself in different situations. My first ever job was working in a pub in my local village, and oh my goodness, it opened my eyes to so much. I was so naive before I worked there. I got to experience abuse from customers, I got to experience all sorts, and that really set me up for knowing what's right, what's wrong, and how to deal with customers, because that comes very important when you're dealing with passengers, because after all, you're looking after their safety. Another bit of advice I would give is to really try and find the airline that works for you. There's a lot of different types of airlines out there. Definitely follow a few of them on social media, because I do feel as though you will find people who work, you will be able to kind of get a feel from what they put out on their social media for what kind of company they are to work for. If that is quite a bold statement, but you know, you will be able to kind of tell, and you'll see what countries you need to live in for these different roles. So I definitely say that is a good bit of advice. Do you have any tips for staying healthy while traveling frequently? Oh my god, this is such a good question. So I'm actually really getting into my fitness recently. This job is so amazing, but when you start to neglect yourself, you will get ill. I actually have never been so ill when having this job. I never ever used to get ill, but since having this job, I've been ill countless times. You are more likely to pick up the common cold if you don't take care of yourself. I actually ended up getting a parasite, which wasn't my fault because I picked it up whilst away, but oh my goodness, it's just horrible things. I've had the neurovirus, I've had countless things. So you really need to stay on track with your fitness, and touch wood, since I've been working on myself, I have felt so much better. Obviously trying to eat healthy is really key. You know, when you're away, it's very easy to go, oh, I'm away, so I'm just gonna eat like 10 pizzas and eat pizza the whole time I'm here because I'm in New York. Obviously do that, experience it. Like, if you're in New York, you're gonna want to try pizza that's on the side of the street. You're gonna want to go and eat hot dogs and things like that, and I'm never saying don't do that, because I do that myself. But I definitely try and make my breakfast the most healthy part, because most of the times I'm away, breakfast is kind of the main meal for me, and I'll try and bulk up on that. So whether it's having acai bowls, having a lot of fibre in them, different things like that is so important. So I would definitely recommend that. I also just keep up my water intake. I take quite a lot of water off the flights with me just so I can keep drinking, keep hydrated, because hydration is key. You get so dehydrated when you're on a flight. Like, I cannot believe when passengers don't even drink on a flight or will drink one tiny cup of water, because I know you're not going to feel great after this. And then for us who are actually working the flight also, you need even more hydration because you're exerting so much. Another thing I would say is just keep moving. I do a lot of walking when I'm away. I sometimes do running, and just do little stretches in my room. Stretching is so important, you know. It is quite a physical job as well, and I feel like not a lot of people talk about how physical it is being crew. You have to pull and push a lot of carts, you're lifting a lot of things, lifting bags, like your own, just even walking in heels through the airport. You can be walking like a mile sometimes and in them heels and pulling your back, so you need to be strong. So that is what I would say. Also, I always wear SPF on the plane, because what a lot of people don't realise is when you're getting the sun through the windows, it's a really intense level of UV. So if you're a passenger and you're sitting right next to the window, the UV going onto your face is crazy. So you need to definitely make sure you're wearing SPF. I mean, we all should be wearing it every day anyway, but especially on a plane. And when I'm away, I just always wear Factor 50 because I'm so scared of getting any problems with my skin. So I just know I've got quite fair skin, so I will really make that a priority for myself, and yeah, definitely do the same. This next question I feel like I've kind of touched on already, but I'll still answer. What's the process like for getting a flight attendant job with an airline? So personally, in my experience, I had to wait quite a while. As I said, I had to apply in September and I had to have my interview in February. During that time I had some online assessments, and then from the time of being offered the job to starting my training, I was so busy. I had to acquire a US visa. Which involved going to the US embassy and going and asking for a visa, and I had to go to I had to get new passport pictures taken. I had to go and get a DBS check. I had to do all these different checks and eye vision checks, and I think even a dentistry check, I want to say. Just so much. So you definitely kind of need to have a little bit of availability. At the time I worked for a 0-hour job, so I was fine, I could arrange that time, but make sure you have a couple of holiday days that you can just take off so you can go to these appointments, because obviously like going to the embassy, unless you live in London, is like quite a big day out. The process can be quite long, but also it can feel really quick, so definitely just enjoy the moment, really be prepared. One thing that I did to prepare was went on Vinted and bought a lot of different clothing that I could wear, because I didn't really have much smart attire. Obviously in your training you need to be smart, presentable, it is a job after all. So I would like pick up a lot of things off Vinted and things just to make sure I was really ready and presenting my best self in the training. I quite like this question. How do you stay motivated and positive during long and challenging flights? I think you just have to love the job. I am quite a positive, and I feel like I'm just also really excited every time I go away. I know I'm going to get to a lovely destination when I'm on my outbound, so I'm really excited for that. So that's in the back of my mind, and that's motivation. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to go and try this new food when I get there, and oh, I want to walk here, and that'll be really exciting. And then also the motivation on the way home is, oh, I'm going to get home and see my family and my boyfriend, and that makes me really excited. So I feel like they're very big motivating factors, and you've also got to realise why you're doing the job. I just look and think, I'm very grateful to be in this job, and yeah, I think I just like it, so that's the only thing that gets me through it really. And also actually the crew, because the crew that I work with are just so lovely. Like, I just love people and working with different people and finding out about different people, and I feel like doing the services, meeting loads of people as well. Like, passengers that we have are so interesting. I love knowing about their lives and just love speaking to people. So I think just being a people person is the only thing that gets me through that. Okay, next question. How do you deal with homesickness and being away from your family for long periods? So On trips, you could potentially be away from home for up to 4 nights. A lot of the trips you're maybe away for 2 nights, but that can still feel like a very long time. I definitely went through a stage where I was finding it really hard to be away from home. I had a lot of personal things going on at home, and I just, although I loved it when I was at work, I would just get to my hotel room at night and just think, oh my god, I really, really wish I was home and I miss everyone. But you just have to be able to know that at the end of the day, this is your job. The obvious thing is FaceTiming people. Like, I FaceTime my family a lot when I'm away, always texting them. Also text on WhatsApp, because actual like iMessage when you're away always goes a bit weird for me. I don't know if that's just me. Anyway, yeah, just sending them pictures, updating them, and just asking about their day. You know, I feel like the thing that people struggle with quite a lot is a lot of the time when we get to destinations, our family are then in bed and asleep, and that can sometimes be sad. And then they're all waking up at home and you're asleep, and then you end up waking up so you could speak to them, and it kind of just gets in a vicious circle. So you just have to have a really good and supportive network at home. If you're in a relationship, I would definitely recommend being with someone who really wants this job for you. I was so lucky with my boyfriend, and he is just amazing. Like, he really pushed me to do this job and was like, this is so you. And he's a very selfless person. If you have someone who is quite a high maintenance person in your relationship, you really need to sit down and discuss with them what it's going to be like, and don't cherry coat it and say, look, I am going to be away for times. And also, I feel like there's a lot of trust as well, because some people look at their partner's going away and are like, oh, you're going away and getting to meet all these people and do all this. And from relationships that I've seen from my friends at work, a lot of their relationships are broken down because their partners don't trust them, or because they think, oh, you're off in Barbados having a great time and I'm stuck at home. And it's not like that. Like, you've worked to get there, you have a reward at the end. But it's the same as some people's jobs here, you know, like, some people have fun jobs at home, and I don't know. So you just have to really have a strong network and just be honest with the people around you. That's all I could say. And one thing that I love to do so I don't feel as homesick is bring a lot of home comforts with me. So I love to bring like some of my favourite tea bags, so when I'm away I know I can always have something like that. Hot water bottles, because I just love hot water bottles. I love being warm, so that's really nice for me. Even just bringing like my pajamas from home. I have a little Jellycat teddy in my bag that I bring with me on all my trips, and I feel like little things like that, you've just got to kind of make it what it is. I personally bring my personal iPad to this one just so I can like watch things on it, and I just love like catching up with my favourite YouTubers and things like that. So all of them kind of things, really. Oh, I really like this question. Do you have any tips for making a flight more comfortable for passengers? Yes, I feel like I have so much knowledge on this category, because I'm always suggesting to people, oh, you should do this, you should do this. First of all, one thing that I mentioned previously, like 30 seconds ago, was bring a hot water bottle on a flight. Oh my goodness, if you get chilly like me, bring one, and your cabin crew are never going to say, no, I can't fill that up. Like, if they do, they are being wrong. You can fill up a hot water bottle and sit there so toasty, because trust me, flights do get cold sometimes. And if you're like me and are always like hot, cold, just get a water bottle, because that is the best thing you could do, a hot water bottle. And secondly, get a normal water bottle, because this is more of a personal thing. I just don't like single-use plastic. If you have your own water bottle, if you have like a metal one, or even if you've bought a plastic bottle in the airport and you have already drunk it, bring it to the back and we'll fill it up. Or your crew will always fill up like water for you. Like, I don't understand when people try to give me a plastic bottle that they've bought in the airport. They've already spent like $5 on it, and I'll say to them, do you want me to fill it up? Because you can bet your bottom dollar, like, at the next service they're going to want a cup of water. And I just think, like, you need to stay hydrated. Bring a water bottle, like, why not? And you can get the little like ones that go down into nothing, or have like a little chain on and stuff so you can attach it to your bag. So why not just bring a water bottle when you're going to need it when you're landing and you're in security and things like that, so why not? Another thing I also mentioned was wearing your SPF. I'd 100% recommend that. I would also recommend noise cancelling headphones, because for me, having peace on a flight just feels amazing. I have the Sony headphones, I'll link them down below, and I just think they're the best because I love just being able to go in my own world, and a lot of them just work on different planes, so I just find them so good. So having your own headphones can be so amazing. Hand sanitizer, like, I am quite a clean freak in a good way, not in a weird way, and I would always say to people, just use hand sanitizer, because especially if you're sat in a window seat, you don't have the option to go and wash your hands before you've had dinner if you don't want to disturb the people in your row. So just having hand sanitizer, because obviously you're touching a lot of things, and through the airport, you know, you're going through a lot. Oh my god, I'd also recommend these little toothbrushes that you can get. I think you'll be able to get them in the UK. They're like little disposable ones, and so you can just whip them out. On the same level, chewing gum, because love my job, but the people that do not brush their teeth, it can be not the most pleasant. I understand people are tired, but if you're going to bed when you're at home, you brush your teeth. But it seems when you're on a flight, people do not know to brush their teeth before they fall asleep for the duration of the flight and then wake up. So that is a recommendation. That is all I'm going to say. I just think it's very nice when you brush your teeth as a passenger, or as anyone. Or have a bit of chewing gum, or a bit of mouthwash, or a bit of breath spray. Just gonna put that out there. PSA. What other things as a passenger? Bringing your own snacks, because I just feel like sometimes it is hard to know what you're going to get on different flights, because you might have booked the flight quite last minute and things like that. So always having snacks with you, I think, just goes a mile. They're the most obvious things that I can think of, but yeah. Right guys, that is all the questions I had written down here. I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I just wanted to say, if you're watching this because you do want to become crew one day, feel free to leave a message in below the video, a comment, and I'm happy to answer any questions. Obviously this advice and answers were all just from my own opinion, and yeah, I really hope it helps someone. If you are becoming crew, it's so exciting. I definitely would recommend, but also I feel like I've given a very clear view on this video that it is a very glamorized job, and it involves a lot of hard work, a lot of sleep deprivation. But if you feel like you're up for it, and you feel like you're the person that isn't afraid of hard work, then the job is great for you. So yeah, I really hope you enjoyed, and make sure you do it and your dreams come true and travel the world. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.